वासुदेवाय ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं दैवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्रीमद् भगवत गीता श्री कृष्ण की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्री दामोदर लीला की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Hope all of you are doing well and keeping warm. We're going to be a bit cold this coming few days, and wishing everyone a very happy Dasera. Nobody's going to wish me back?
Thank you, Prabhu. Wishing you all safe, Prabhu. Thank you.
Sorry? Nobody's
Thank you,
speaking.
Prabhu. Same to you all. Yeah.
All right. So you would have heard my message. So let us do a quick recap in a quick 5-7 minutes, please. Who would like to go ahead with the recapping, please? What we discussed last week. This is leaders program.
Hare Krishna.
I can take a lot of
Hare
liberty.
Krishna, Prabhu.
So are you prepared for that?
Um, I have some points that I can recap, Prabhuji. Just
Okay. No, you leave it then. What about your wife? Can I hear from her, please? Let's hear from her recapping. Thank you.
uh,
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Haribol. As I said, we'll have 40 minutes time for Q&A. You'll have 10, 15 minutes maximum for a recap. And I'll speak for about half an hour, 35 minutes. So any time goes more, but we'll finish it by 8:30. I started late 5 minutes, so finish at 8:35. Not later than that. So the time you take, it'll be eating into my giving class time or Q&A time.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shall I just share the summary that I had?
No, no, no. I was waiting for Dolly Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. We can't hear you. You have to unmute.
I'm already unmuted, Prabhuji.
Oh no, I'm telling my wife,
Oh, okay.
Prabhuji, because I think she's saying something, but we couldn't hear.
Okay.
I'll go and tell her. Hare Krishna.
I'm on mute.
Oh, you can use my phone. Yeah. Talk to me. Where is it?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I've been talking for so long. I think nobody could hear me. Sorry, Prabhuji, I didn't prepare for that. I just came. Sorry, is that okay, Prabhuji?
We want to recap, what was recapping last week's program, what we did. I sent a message to all of you.
Yes. So last time we just discussed about our Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 3. And I didn't have any points, Prabhuji. Sorry, I didn't even see the message. I was just busy the whole day. But can I just give my recapping realization a little bit later, Prabhuji? Is that okay? I'll just
Last time
revise myself.
we spoke about we started Damodara Lila pastimes.
Oh yes, Prabhuji. Sorry, yeah.
I gave an advanced class for leaders only.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, we just started Damodar Lila program, and then we agreed with. I just spoke with my Prabhuji about that, Prabhuji, that we agreed with the listening. But after that, this message I didn't listen. Yes, so we spoke about Damodar Lila. You only spoke about. We heard about Damodar Lila pastimes last time, and it was mostly about Krishna's the childhood activities, how Krishna go through all this, like how kill the demons, different demons, and how all this was happened in Krishna's past, like in the childhood. So I just remember that, yes, that's what we heard about, Prabhuji, but I didn't prepare anything in particular.
I think you did not hear properly. Let's see if somebody else has heard. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Who else are to say? What about? First of all, how is your wife doing? She had an accident. Her car is okay. She's all right. Namrata Mataji.
Yeah, she's okay, Prabhuji. Yeah, just now, car has got bit damaged. Just need to go through the claim process and all that.
Okay. So car is damaged, huh? It can be repaired, not repaired.
It will be repaired. Sound like repaired, but you can't tell just looking at it. Maybe if there is any structural damage, I think we'll get it checked by panel beater. I think that's actually after lodging a claim. But she's good. Nothing happened.
Okay. Yes. What about Saraswati Mataji? Yeah, from Mataji today. Just a recapping what we studied last week.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'll try to give the recap. The first point which I remember is that the activities of the Lord should be heard with rapt attention. And as the garland is, it's like the garland in the neck, so it's very close to the heart of the devotees. So Krishna's all activities are good, and all his avatars are good, but the childhood pastimes is the most attractive and beautiful, because this is very, very dear to the devotees. And then Parikshit Maharaj especially wants to know more about Krishna's childhood pastimes, and then because those activities are very beautiful, and especially easy to hear from the devotees, and he wants to hear them from Shukdev Goswami. which is the great devotee of the Lord. And that's why he is, although he is a very realized soul himself, he is, and he knows more about, he knows about Krishna, many things, but still he is asking Shukdev Goswami to, if that if you think that it is okay, then please tell me more about Krishna's pastimes. And then he asks, because he knows about Krishna and Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Mata. And then this shloka comes where Nand Maharaj, is the his glories of Nand Maharaj is coming, which is I think it's in the Padyavali, if I remember correctly, by Rup Goswami.
Tell it.
Uh, that Nand Maharaj is very exalted personality, and Krishna, who is the personality of Godhead, he is serving him as a little a kid would serve his father. So he brings his shoes on his head very with lot of respect. And then Yashoda Mata is more exalted than Nand Maharaj because she is always with Krishna. Nand Maharaj sometimes goes away from his business work, but Yashoda Mata is always with Krishna, and then she is the Mahabhaga, it's called. Um, she's most fortunate. And then qualities of God were discussed. Then there was this shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, and then shloka 13 and 14, where we discussed that um, the personality of God has no beginning, no end, no exterior, no interior, no front, no rear, and because he is all pervasive. And then there were 4 points there. Then he is the transcendental being. He is absolute and beyond relativity, and there is no cause and effect for him. And then that he has manifested as a person, although he is beyond the perception of senses, and but he has appeared as a little uh, child in Nand Maharaj's courtyard. He's playing there. He is giving all the pleasure to the uh, Nand Maharaj, Yashoda ji, and Yashoda Mata, and everyone else uh, in the Braj Dham. So then these all, and then there was a very nice um, line. I remember that only the devotees can handle him, and because that is because they act on the basis of loving service. So Yashoda Mata and Nand Maharaj, Yashoda Mata is trying to bind him, although no one can bind Krishna, because he, the whole universe in is his mouth, and he's a little child, but there no one can do it, but only Krishna agrees to be bound by Yashoda Mata, because just she is on the platform of loving, it's on the Vatsalya ras, so is everything the devotees relish is the rasas with Krishna. So it's very beautiful pastimes of Krishna. So that's what I remember, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Avinash, what about you?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for the opportunity, and thank you, Saraswati Devidasi, for sharing your relation. Yes, Prabhu, I also prepared some notes similar on the lines what my wife just said, But what I remember very distinctly is that the relationship uh, with devotee is more important than Krishna, and that's where it is said that we have to we have to uh, we can only go through Krishna through his devotees, and that's what is also discussed in Bhagavatam in the verses we discussed, and you spent a lot of time on the verse which talks about Krishna's quality, and that how Krishna is actually beyond cause and effect. Everything in material world is actually has cause and effect. Without cause, nothing actually happens. And but even and you were actually describing the qualities of personality of Godhead, and then said of that quality uh, has actually manifested in the courtyard of Yashoda Mataji and Nand Maharaj. And I understood from this entire discussion you had last week that you were actually setting the tone for this Damodar pastime, knowing the devotees, knowing the background, the relationship between uh, Krishna, Nanda Maharaj, and Yashoda Mata, and what's going to happen now. So that's what I realized. That's what I remember.
Okay, thank you. Krishnadas, how about you? Any other points of recapping?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Saraswati Mataji and Avinash Prabhu, for recapping very nicely and very comprehensively from last week. Actually, the points that I had made note of, a lot of them were said by Saraswati Mataji. For a point in particular that stood out to me was
No, it's not question of shooting out. We're talking about
oh,
recapping.
sorry, yes.
Your
So,
realization.
yeah. So I meant to say that the point that I found very important, but I'll just say all my points that I've written. Number one thing that I do remember was you mentioning that Mother Yashoda was more fortunate than Nanda Maharaj. And as Saraswati Mataji said, Nanda Maharaj was often separated from Krishna for doing his activities, but Yashoda Mata was never at any time separated from the Lord. And also that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, the two verses in which we spent a lot of time, was very important as well, that Lord Krishna being all-pervading. And so that is because he has no beginning and no end, no exterior, no interior, no front and no rear. And since the Lord is not under any influence of time, he exists eternally in his transcendental form. And this him being all-pervading is means that he is not under he does not fall under the distinctions of cause and effect, even though he is the cause of everything. And so, in spite of the Lord being all-pervading, he still allows himself to be bound to the wooden grinding mortar by Mother Yashoda. And as mentioned by Saraswati Mataji, this was Lord Krishna had allowed it because it was done on the platform of pure transcendental love. So this was the points that I made in terms of the recap, and this was an introductory lesson, introductory discussion on the pastimes of Damodar. That's what I'd written down. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So you guys missed on the point about I referred the verse of how Nanda Maharaj is glorified. So I would like to worship Nanda Maharaj. That was very important. Okay. Well, we have taken a lot of time on this now, more than expected there. We will go till 8:35 today. Um, so we worked very hard on this, and I'm hoping and praying that there will be some meaning and some benefit to all of us, to me, and to all of you too. Okay, let's quickly go with this discussion. So I wanted to ask one question for today's discussion. We continue with the Damodara Lila pastimes. Um, how did the Damodara Lila pastime begin? What is the starting point of Damodara Lila pastimes? If you're saying Namam Vishwaram Sachit Ananda Rupam, so what is the starting point? Yeah, glorification of Krishna. Yes, that's right. But where the pastimes begin? Any one of you, please.
Krishna Prabhu. Then Yashoda Mata breastfeeding Lord Krishna. That's where it all starts, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, please?
Would it be the pastime of Manigriva and Nilkawara about how they were cursed to become trees?
No, that is much later.
Okay.
So how does it begin? Just read that prayer. We sing every day, morning, evening. In the explanation, this starts.
Do you want me to read number 1 and 2 or?
No, on my explanation, that when we start the explanation, where do we start from? We say that on the time when all the servants were busy doing their work, Mother Yashoda started to churn the butter.
Yes, Prabhu. Churning the butter. Yes, Prabhu.
So there is a first point.
Yeah.
So if we do not know what happened, then how do we know the deeper meanings behind it? Okay. Now that we know, we realize, okay, what do you remember about this point, please? Anybody? Because we can go a bit deeper on this particular pastime. So what happened? I said, I give you the answer that she was churning. And then what happened? What was the pastime there? This particular element, the first part.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Uh, after when Maya Yashoda was churning the butter, then little Krishna Lord was hungry and he was asking milk, and then Maya Yashoda breastfeed little Krishna, and while doing that, and after sometimes he smelled the milk was boiling in the kitchen. So there was a milk there on the fire. So, and suddenly Maya Yashoda put the Krishna down and ran to the kitchen. So, and that's where Lord Krishna got a little angry, and then he broke on the pot, and he decided to do some mischief. So that's where it started. And he still stole the butter and gave to his friends, monkeys.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So let us focus on this then. The sorting of it. What actually happened? Why was she churning the butter? What butter was she churning? There is a meaning behind it. So, um, Shishuka Uvacha Ekada Gruhada Shishu Yashodananda Gehini Karmantara Niyuktasu Nirmamanta Swayam Dadhi Yani Yani Hagitani Tadbala Charitani Cha Dadhi Nirmanthane Kale Smarantitani Agayata. This is very important. So here, Mother Yashoda, here you say that when all the maid servants were very engaged, one day, Nanda Gehini, the queen of Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda, Karma Antara, she was doing her household affairs. Yeah. And being engaged, Nirmananta, churned. What dahi? Is yogurt. And dadhi nirmanthane. While churning the yogurt, something happened there. What happened was that, first point, Shuddha Goswami continued. One day, when Mother Yashoda saw that all the maid servants were engaged in other household affairs, this much we know, we speak so many times every year, she personally began to churn the yogurt. While churning, she remembered the childish activities of Krishna. And in her own way, she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about all those activities. So, what does it mean? This is very important to understand this point. What does it mean? So, in Vaishnav Toshani, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this point. Srila Prabhupada gives this in the purport. He's saying that, first of all, this particular incident took place during Deepavali day, actually Diwali day. And because she was concerned that Krishna is going away and stealing butter from other people's homes, she started to think, why is he doing it? Will you do it if we have got somebody stealing, our children stealing from other people's homes? We start to think, why is it in our house we are not providing him food or what? So she considered that probably Krishna is having something better than other homes than in our own home. We also make yogurt. We are the king of the world, but we still steal from other people's homes. So what she did was, she thought probably the quality of the butter may not be very good. So she actually, Nanda Maharaj had, I think, about 600,000 cows. So there's a particular number of cows there. They were of Mother Yashoda's in Nand Maharaj's cow. So those cows the Mother Yashoda was taking care, they ate a particular kind of grass. They're very flavorable grasses. And because those cows ate that particular fragrant grass, the milk that was produced had fragrance in it. And Mother Yashoda used that milk to make it into butter, turn it into butter personally. She did it personally. And then she was thinking that why my son Krishna is going here and there, stealing the other neighborhood, Gopal and Gopis from their homes. Maybe he did not like the milk and the yogurt that is ordinarily prepared. That's why this is the meaning when she started to churn herself. So every action has got deeper meaning behind it. And different authorities have given their own particular insights on the subject matter. This is one of it. Second point in this particular verses, two verses, it is mentioned that Mother Yashoda was singing different glories of Krishna. She said that while she was churning the butter, Mother Yashoda was singing about Krishna's childhood activities. If you remember, I was mentioning this in the past, that informally is a custom, where people would appoint some professional poets, and they tell them to write a poetry based upon this particular pastimes of Krishna. Or if the poets are not available, then people themselves would talk about the pastimes. And this was the best way to memorize the activities of Krishna, childhood pastimes. Krishna killing different demons. And by this time, when Damodara Lila took place, he had already killed about three, four demons, starting with Putana. So this is the best way to remain in constant touch in one's meditation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, 24 hours a day. This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Krishna conscious, 24 hours a day. So this particular incident of her churning the butter, the deeper meaning as to why she was doing it, what she used, as which cows did she use for, and what is the meaning behind she was churning the butter and glorifying Krishna, remembering. So this particular incident shows that how attracted Mother Yashoda is, like how Krishna conscious she is. And to stay in Krishna consciousness, we should follow such persons. Prabhupada writes this point. So that means that these personalities who are trying to remain 24 hours Krishna conscious, they have worked hard to achieve that. It's not that it's going to come automatically. We think that when I become pure devotee, I'll remember Krishna 24 hours a day. All of us, I can tell you, all of us will think like this. That is not true. To become pure devotee, we have to take efforts. And this is one of the efforts. One of them is to sing the pastimes of Krishna so we can memorize it and we never forget it. So this is the symptom of a particular person who constantly wants to think about Krishna. There are some verses which we can relate to when we've studied these verses ourselves. We can revisit these verses to understand. See, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्. We did this verse in 9th chapter. But those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So because they're taking so much efforts in trying to remember Krishna 24 hours a day, Krishna is making sure that whatever they have given up in doing so, he makes sure that there is no lacking for them. This is the meaning. But those who worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. You see, one who is unable to live for even for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, running other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Nine processes of bhakti. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies. Indeed, they make the devotee perfect in self realization. Then, his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called yoga. Yoga Kshemam Bhajameham. By the mercy of the Lord, the devotee never comes back to this material condition of life. Kshema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. Yoga Kshema. Yoga Kshema. Kshema means refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga. When he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to the miserable condition of life. This is one verse. This is how we can understand what Mother Yashoda is. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha parupasate yesham nityaviyuktanam yogakshemam vahamayaham. Then we can look at another verse, similar, which talks about similar devotees. Exactly what Mother Yashoda is doing this particular pastime of why Krishna is stealing butter from somebody else. Let me give her best milk, fragrant milk from the best cows which I have. And while doing so, she was remembering Krishna in his pastimes. So just this element has got so much depth in it. Let's go to the next verse, similar verse. Yat karoshi yad ashnoshi yat juhoshi dadasi yat tat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. See, here Krishna is saying, O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. See, he's still demanding this point. And this is exactly what we see in the life of Mother Yashoda. This is what she's doing. Let's read it again. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. You see, this is the personification of how it is done. So Bhagavad Gita is the, as I said, it's preliminary study of scriptures, philosophy. Bhagavatam is advanced because Bhagavatam you can see into practice. This is what we're seeing in practice in Mother Yashoda. So it is said that it is a duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together. We all are working, right? Very busy we are in our work, family affairs, so many things. And Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Eat prasadam, accept prasadam. Any civilized man has to perform some religious ritualistic activities, ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me. And this is called archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Is it not what we're doing now? We're saying that you must preach That means automatically you'll start to think about preaching, think about Krishna, think about all these things. Otherwise, you'll never do it. I can tell you, if you don't preach, you will have very, very strong excuses not to do anything. I'm very busy, you will say. At least now, forcefully, you're preaching. This is the whole idea behind it. Prabhupada says here, see, this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Here is recommending. There is much preaching. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to meditational process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditation on Krishna 24 hours by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, rounds on his beads, he is surely the greatest yogi, as substantiated in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So here again, Krishna is saying what he should be doing, what he expects people to do. And Prabhupada again explains the process by which one can do this 24 hours a day. And we are seeing in Mother Yashoda what happened there. Another verse which is very famous, one of the seed verses. Machita madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. See, here it is. Again, Mother Yashoda. Their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. This is the point. They don't talk about anything else. Even with their own selves, they remember Krishna by remembering the different activities of Krishna. And when they talk to each other, they remember Krishna. That's why the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. The thinking process should change. Their lives are surrendered unto me. Then the surrender will come. They derive great satisfaction and bliss by always enlightening one another, and conversing about me. So pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of the Lord. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing Him with other devotees. This is what Mother Yashoda and all the cowherd girls and boys did. The gopis, the elder gopis, also did the same thing. See, in the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. This is the very beginning stage. People say, no, I like to do service. This is what it is. I like to do service. Engage me in service. So it's the preliminary stage, engaging in service. Prabhupada. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in His abode. The love of God is where then at this point in time, devotees relish what their association is with Krishna in his abode in Golok Vrindavan. So we just took these three verses, and we saw how qualities of Mother Yashoda is mentioned by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is the meaning. She started to churn the butter. We understood the meaning behind it, why, and what she did to entice Krishna to drink only butter from her, from our home, not somebody else's home, not to become a thief. And second thing is that she was glorifying Krishna constantly by doing the process. So in every action and thought, she was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Okay. Now it's already 9:21. We can go till 25. I wanted to keep 15 minutes for question and answers. So either we can do that or I can speak a little bit more. But we'll be cutting into question answers. What do you want to do? Please let me know. Because if I speak more on one more point, that'll take about 7 to 10 minutes, and that'll be about 5 minutes for Q&A. Is that okay with you guys?
I'd like you to speak more.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes, Prabhuji, you
But
can speak one more point.
Okay, I couldn't hear. Okay, that's fine. We'll speak one more point then. We'll speak for about 10 more minutes there. So this is a description of Mother Yashoda now. Now what we're going to discuss is this, that this particular, so still hold on to the process where Mother Yashoda is churning the butter. Okay, don't jump and don't read, don't Google it and don't read it when I'm talking to you. Have some respect, listen attentively. So Mother Yashoda is thinking like this and acting in this way of churning the butter. We're still in the process, that process only. We've not moved any further because bhakti and Bhagavatam is relished in this way. Now we are going to discuss about Mother Yashoda, this process of churning, and how anyone who is interested in Vatsalya Ras, in perfecting Krishna, love for Krishna as parent, must meditate upon Mother Yashoda's this particular activity and form, which is described in this particular verse. So, description of Mother Yashoda's churning butter. Advanced devotees must cherish this description and increase their affection for Krishna. So, this is that very important verse now. Kshaumam vasah पृथुकटी तटे बिभ्रति सूत्रनद्धं पुत्र स्नेह स्नुता कुच युगम जात कंपम च शुभ्रहो रज्वाकर्ष श्रम भुज चलत कंकणो कुंडले च स्विन्नम वक्त्रन कबर विगलन Malati Nirmam Mantha. So here, first point is that dressed in a saffron yellow sari with a belt tied about her full hips. Okay? So Mother Yashoda is wearing a saffron colored yellow sari this point in time. And she has a belt tied on her waist above her full hips. First point. Second, Mother Yashoda pulled on the churning rope, laboring considerably. Third, her bangles and earrings are moving and vibrating, and her body, full body, whole body shaking. Fourth, because of her intense love for her child, her breasts were wet with milk. Just thinking about Krishna. Number five, her face, with its very beautiful eyebrows, were wet with perspiration. Number six, and multi flowers were falling from her hair. So this is a very beautiful description given by Mother Yashoda while she was churning the butter. Okay, so first we discussed about why she was doing it, how she did it, and now the process of it is described. And this process is important for any devotee, not only for Vacharas, for any devotee. We can see how beautiful description is given, and it help us in our chanting. See, first point is that anyone who desires to be Krishna conscious in motherly affection or parental affection should contemplate the bodily features of Mother Yashoda. This first point. Second point is that it is not that one should desire to become like Yashoda. It's a mistake. Don't become like Yashoda. What this is Mayavad philosophy. She's Yashoda, you cannot become Yashoda. Number three, see, either in parental affection or conjugal love, friendship or servitorship, in any way, We must follow in the footsteps of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, not try to become like them. Therefore, this description is provided here. The reason why this description is provided here, you see, and that is why it is said that you follow Raga Nuga Bhakti, Anuga, following. Must follow in the footsteps of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So here, those who follow Mother Yashoda, parental affair, parental loving relationship, they follow in this way. Not become like them, but follow in the footsteps. Number 4, advanced devotees must cherish this description, always thinking of Mother Yashoda's features, how she was dressed, how she was working and perspiring, how beautifully the flowers were arranged on her hair, in her hair, and so on. One should take advantage of the full description provided here by thinking of Mother Yashoda in maternal affection for Krishna. So similarly, when you're cooking for Krishna, this is how you may think that what I'm doing and what Mother Yashoda was doing. We can take inspiration from Mother Yashoda. Cooking is one aspect of things, remembering Krishna, laboring hard for Krishna, thinking about Krishna, and getting inspiration from Mother Yashoda. That how beautifully she took care of Krishna. So you can one day follow nicely, Our process may be that of Vatsal of not Vatsal Rasa but Madhura Rasa. But at the same time, devotees are devotees. I'm sure gopis will be marrying about Mother Yashoda also. That how beautiful she is. Her service to Krishna is so nice. So by this age, all the gopis were also of Krishna's age. They could not serve Krishna by now. They were toddlers too. You see? So Mother Yashoda is serving Krishna much before the gopis. So this is how one can contemplate and draw inspiration from these important personalities which live with Krishna eternally in Golok Vrindavan, in Vrindavan. And this is how one will not become then too puffed up to say, I'm doing some service, or I'm very busy now, or I've got so many things to be done, or that I've done so many things, I'm doing so many things. Because everywhere, the moment you see Krishna's personal associates, they say they are not doing anything, but they do the maximum things, you see. So this is how we draw inspiration from the activities of Mother Yashoda. Okay? So just to conclude today's discussion, just this point, we just started off the discussion by Mother Yashoda churning the butter, how she churned the butter, remembering Krishna. But that's it. What was she thinking? Why was she churning the butter? How was she doing it? And her description, churning of the butter. Right now, we're not talking about Krishna coming, breaking the pot. There is much later on. Just see, the 6 weeks program, we will not complete the whole discourse. It has to go through many years of discussions. You see? So this is what I thought whenever I prepared this, when I was studying this, and I prepared all these different classes. I said one day, when it is beneficial for all of us, we should discuss this. And hopefully it'll benefit all of you, and me too, obviously. This is how I prepared myself. There were some more verses discussion which I wanted to do, but I think we are pausing for time now. It's already 8:30. We've got 5 more minutes. So if anyone has to say anything, we can open for discussion now. Thank you. Jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your very nice class and very good points. Um, the points that I haven't realized, or um, how the Damodara Lila has begun, and in the very first point, and you very elaborately discussed and given so many points that how we should look at these pastimes and how Mother Yashoda was doing, and rather than imitating, we should follow, like Anukaran and Anusaran, that point, and that can help us in the when we are doing our services to remember and taking the inspiration from pure devotees like Mother Yashoda and these pastimes. So yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much for your class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. It is for my benefit.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for a very nice class, Prabhuji. I think never thought, there is so much meaning to every little thing that pure devotee does. I never realized this point. Means this is all new for me. With the discussion, Prabhuji, I got one question where you actually described, the parental affection of Mother Yashoda. Where you mentioned that if one want to perfect this Vasalya rasa, they should contemplate on the point that you mentioned, this point where first one you say that one should contemplate on a bodily feature of Mother Yashoda, what sari she was wearing, what kind of flowers in her hair, all that. So I was thinking because Sanjay Prabhu also said, Anukaran Anusharan. By contemplating on bodily feature, Prabhuji, what inspiration one can actually derive? Means I do not understand actually that point, Prabhuji. You can is able to clarify that one.
Yes, that will be revealed as we progress.
Okay, Prabhuji. To
It
me,
will reveal as we progress. Here, just how she labored, how she performed the churning of the butter, and what was her position at that time, situation, that is described, and this is where it is important. That's why this particular description is given.
also, Prabhuji, the point here means that actually our sampraday's mode is conjugal law, and here Yashoda Mata is in a Vasalya ras. So by actually means this actually question actually I thought about it many times that because we are following this parampara and the mode of the parampara is a conjugal law. So even while following, if one develop another ras, is that
No problem.
this
It can
point?
happen. It can happen.
Yeah, because yeah, actually it came into my reading, no, actually where we discussed in the past about the Swarup Siddhi, no? So where it mentioned that everybody has that particular position in a spiritual world and they have particular kind of service to Krishna. So that is revealed at very advanced stage. So we may not know, in which ras, if any Jivatma is actually served Krishna. So I was thinking, how that actually is that stays the same or is that changes as well?
No. See, even in Chaitanya Lila, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, some of them they said, we just can't. Our service, our love is as a servant of you. The incarnation of Hanuman also with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a Dasya Ras, you see. So that is there. And although our training here is that of Madhurya Rasa, one may be more inclined towards some other rasa. That's okay. And But mistakes should not be made to think that this rasa is high, this rasa is low. What happened was that Srila Prabhupada once heard, one devotee was remembering, and this is a fact, it's a historical fact in ISKCON. There was a Gopi club, all these big sannyasis, devotees were there in the Gopi club. And Prabhupada were once wearing a tilak, and one of the disciples, servants told Prabhupada that devotees have formed a Gopi club, and they're discussing that how Mother Yashoda's um, she's not as advanced as Radha, And Prabhupada, when he heard this, the devotee who saw, he said that Prabhupada's hand started to shake in anger, Prabhupada was so angry about this situation. He said, who are these rascals? What is the people doing, We cannot even think. Yashoda Mata's position is so exalted. Who are we to say she is inferior to Radharani and all those things? And this is wrong. They dismantled this Gopi club. And many of them, they went even to this other, Gaudiya Math sannyasis and all that, to learn and to meditate upon this bhav and all that, So Prabhupada was very upset about this situation. Prabhupada said, everything that I've given is in the books, Why running here and there? So all this will be revealed to us. Prabhupada said at the time, and Prabhupada gave many classes from this time to say, first become qualified, then it will be revealed to you, So, see, just here we discussed about what is the meaning of remembrance. The first verse we discussed about, what did Mother Yashoda think before churning the butter, making a fresh butter for Krishna, and how she did it, while glorifying Krishna. Just for that, we saw about 3 verses in the Bhagavad Gita. And it took us to a different platform, Before this, we studied the same verses, But the same verses are put into perspective now with Mother Yashoda's position. See? So yeah, these are the people who can, this is exactly what she did. And pure devotee does like this. And this is what she did. And there are verses explaining this kind of devotee. Simple as that. So that's correct. And in the future, one may change one's rasa also. It's possible. But generally speaking, that is the reason why one should be very focused upon what it is. See, this was one of the first questions I asked Guru Maharaj, because I also like Krishna in a particular way, So I asked Maharaj, this is what I do, this is what I like to love him, So Maharaj said, it's okay, just read Prabhupada's books, it'll become more clear. This was my very first question to Maharaj. I took Maharaj very privately in my bedroom when we were alone and asked this particular question. This is how I like to worship Krishna, So Maharaj said, not to worry, just read Prabhupada's books, things will become more clear. This is there, when there's some honesty there, purity is there, so this kind of feelings come, That's good, Maharaj said, So, yes, but as we study Prabhupada's books, it'll happen. Even Srila Prabhupada were accused, not accused, there were some other devotees, they said the Prabhupada were worshipping Krishna in Sakya Ras, not Madhura Rasa. So these are all different things, different speculations. I don't understand it, But we are in the Sampradaya of Madhura Rasa. Prabhupada is the biggest preacher. So what, His favorite sing Kirtan is Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, So that is only about love and expression of love. See? So, but understand one thing, when a devotee is loving somebody, he will not say, I not love in this way, I love only in this way. This doesn't work, like that. You love everywhere and everything. How he is loved. It's just a feature, Vacharasa is a feature in which a devotee loves Krishna as their parents. So a devotee, even if it's Madhura Rasa, he would appreciate those devotees worshipping him in Vacharasa Rasa also, you see. Well, Madhura Rasa is very, very different. We cannot even enter those pastimes. This is what I read, I cannot even explain this. It is that tricky. Even for me to understand, I'm going to open up and express also. But this is a very good nectar. And we can learn from every of these, every stages. Is that okay what I explained to you, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think, yeah, nicely explained. But Prabhuji, Prabhupada also said that actually everybody thinks, all the pure devotees, that their bhav or ras is the best,
Yeah,
but say Madhuri is the topmost.
yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct. In rasa, it is topmost, that's right. But when one is situated in that position, he doesn't need to move it. He doesn't need to change it. That is his natural constitutional position.
Yeah,
He likes it where he is. Mother Yashoda likes him as his son. That's it, full stop. And she could not tolerate his separation from him. See? So for them, they do not care if somebody else is his wife or lover and all that thing, or servant and all. Good. They love everybody. What we don't understand is this, that there is no disparity in the spiritual world. So yeah, Mother Teresa is more advanced, but there's what advances. Krishna, ultimately, he goes to Mother Yashoda even as as an older person. And when he was not toddler, he would still go and sit on her lap and drink milk from her. Follow. You understand what I'm trying to say?
yes, Prabhuji, yeah.
See, like even your parents, even your child, you take care of the child as a parent, right? The child grows up, the child will have a husband, whatever it is, and then you are still satisfied in your position as parent,
Yes.
you know. That's it, and he remains your son, a child forever. He never betrays you, never speaks against you, never speak for you. That's the point to be understood. There's a reciprocation. All this is right now speculation for me and for you too, both. It will reveal to both of us when we become advanced and we chant sincerely, we do service sincerely, thinking about how Mother Yashoda did, how Nanda Maharaj did, thinking only about them. Their whole life was revolved around them. Like Krishna is running around in their house. So Krishna is running around in our house also. We have to cook for Krishna. He's situated in one place, all right. He's situated in our altar, that is correct. But since morning when we wake up, we do arti, we cook for him, worship him, we change the water for him, we're chanting for him, now we're discussing for him. So is he not in our house? Tell me. So it will reveal. It will reveal. No problem. Okay?
Mhm.
I think we overshot our time.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. All right. So next week we will speak Krishna willing by Srila Gurudev Excellent College Mercy. We will uh, continue the subject matter, and till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And please, we'll do a recap every week. So the less time we spend there, the more time we can have discussion and more time we can have Q&A. Okay? Thank you very much. Jai. Srimad Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai.
Jai.
Chaitanya
Jai.
Charitamrita ki Jai. Srila
Jai.
Gurudev ki Jai.
Jai.
Word towards synonyms, translations and purpose by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande. Hari Hari
Hare
Bol.
Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.